other than Rob.
So I'm very preoccupied with decarbonization. So that's clean tech on one side, energy transition, and agriculture on the other side. And what I'm interested in looking at is a couple of interesting things on the head. In sort of the emerging markets for energy, you have wind and solar. I mentioned solar tractors, public companies. Solar. I'm looking at a private company that does solar tractors. We would never invest in solar energy because it's a mature market. You're a venture, not to invest in a solar producer in China or something like that. But you would invest in the infrastructure that has new and innovative technology. So we're looking at a solar tractor that is 20% better than public with more efficiency. That, if it's true, is obviously a massively interesting technology which you can roll out then over the entire solar portfolio, which is great. We look at incoming technologies that are very interesting and commercializable in the next 5 years. So for example, the way we think about it, we look, for example, at direct air capture, a massive idea. It's probably not going to happen within the next 5 years. So we look at it knowing that it's too early to invest, we just have to look at it now, all these X prizes that Elon Musk is giving for 3 years in a row, so all those companies, and see which one of those companies are going one step further to proof of concept, one step further to proof of concept. All of a sudden they're ripe for sort of the Series A, and then you participate. A little closer to home, which we think is going to break through in the next couple of years, is hydrogen. We recently, a couple months ago, did an investment in a hydrogen company in the Netherlands. Teamed up with a top-tier venture firm in that space, and we looked at a bunch of different technologies in Europe, where they're a little further ahead. And now we've invested in a company, a Catalyzer, which is combines an electrolyzer with the battery. You kind of need both. You stabilize the grid, and on one side and the other side, you produce hydrogen cheaply. And to make the point, there's a massive IRA, cookie-like IRA credit for hydrogen, $3 a kilo. Combination of technology that's very efficient, plus the fact that you get IRA benefits, make it an excellent sort of destination. Hydrogen right now is very, very small. If it's green hydrogen, hydrogen is very big. Green hydrogen is very small. But because of the IRA, this price becomes very attractive, market competitive, inclusive of the green premium. And we think over time, the green premium will go away. So over time, we will be able to produce hydrogen very, very cheaply and effectively, particularly, let's say, the petrochemical industry, where you can place a unit size of sort of 20 by 10 foot on premise. And so the other one's point-to-point hydrogen. We talked a little bit about hydrogen in dry form. I think there's actually a chance as well. This is a different type of hydrogen, different energy density, but I think that the IRA gives a lot of sort of help there. We also, so the next one up that has sort of here and now ramifications is ultra low carbon fuels. We believe, just like a lot of others in the room, that we cannot exist in this world without oil the next 20, 30 years. That's very clear. However, what about if we can make that oil much more less bad for the environment? So we invested a number. We have done actually 3 investments in this space now. One of them in Acero, and you mentioned it this morning, which right now built the only and sort of sustainable aviation fuel factory in the world at scale, 10,000 barrels a day. The largest UE loan of $3 billion. And that's what it takes to build a very large factory. That doesn't mean you're out of the risk yet, because it still needs to be built, still can go wrong. But if it's being built and it's ready, then there's off-takers. Everybody will be off-takers. They'll stand in line to be off-takers. Because everybody wants to decarbonize jet fuel. And we will produce it also without being free premium. Even if you have zero IRA, we only typically invest in the features of eventually this 45s and 45Zs and the B3 range will all go to zero. is it then still market competitive? If that's market competitive, then the rest is on the upside. That's very important. So for Jasper, we have that.
I just want to yield. I love that story, of course. One of our babies that you invested in. But let me just hold your powder. Oleg, you see interesting things around the world. You have an endless supply of them.
Yes, well,
so to speak.
Almost 15 years. I focused on the country. I like this territory of the home service. But the company with 1 million clients, 5 million paid clients, 200 million credits, so the valuation was close to $1 billion, and I founded this company. From scratch, and then because of the tragic war, I had to leave the company, all my positions, and start to look around and look for new opportunities for me. I definitely look for technology, particularly for AI, because I think that this is a real thing that will change many things. So I founded one company in this case. I found a couple of other companies. So AI and robotics is something that I'm more specializing in. And also early stage. Most of your folks will have investment opportunities with later stage, and I'm kind of in the early stage, except some opportunistic situations that I from time to time can bring to you as an opportunity. But what I can see that, the deeper you are to the bottom of the ocean, the less volatility you feel. So if you're in the public market or close to the public market, you can feel all these waves. If you go down to the ocean in our early stage, then you don't feel that much, except probably the capital is becoming more difficult to raise. But in terms of valuations, much more volatility you feel, companies that are closer to the IPO level than at the C level, A round. That's what I feel. What can I say? The company that I started, it was like Netflix, right? And Netflix raised up because of the personalization. And I think the personalization in media means that broadcasters, before the TV companies, cable companies, they broadcasted to the big client segment. And Netflix came and said that they would broadcast for each particular individual. And what is happening now with AI, we're speaking about hyper-personalization. If we're speaking about B2C case, we're speaking about hyper-personalization. So the company is really working for you, just for an individual. Just to give you an example of the company that I'm developing now, it's going to be an AI-based concierge personal assistant for the entertainment. So if you want to go out, it will provide you and filter everything that is happening around you, according to your interests, preferences, available time that you have, people that, with whom you are spending your time, and your preferred location. So it is hyper-personalization for you, taking into account all these factors. So it was not impossible just a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago. So we can do now. We can cover all these cases for a particular individual using all this power of AI technology. For another company that I'm helping, it's in...
Let's pause, because I think this is to keep it moving. I wish you could do that for healthcare, too.
Yeah.
Michael.
A lot of what you also see, and also areas where definitely have emerging markets, hydrogen and stuff. Where the kind of growing is coming from creating something new. Yeah, so you have to grow in the market which is not existing, and you have to do a lot of things in those markets. What we are doing, we are looking also to markets which are still existing and where the disruptive technology is coming in the market and changing the market completely and sorting out, substituting existing products. This is much more easier to enter, and there is an existing market where you can see how the market model works. A good example is the packaging industry. So packaging is mostly done out of plastic. Some things are done out of 2D paper shapes, cartonnage and everything. What we do is we're developing at the moment, and we are looking for things which are given to 3D shaped paper packaging, which is based out of natural ingredients, fast growing, but products from the nature. I believe that this is a market which can develop quite fast because we have existing things, we can go in that. And we see a lot of companies which are currently raising money on that. A good example is Footprint Gas. So Footprint Gas last year, they were supposed to get bankrupt, and they had a good technology. They started the first round in January this year, and then they started to talk to McWin, and McWin gave them 500 million to grow immediately these technologies because they detected this is one of the most exciting markets in the end. We are covering Europe, and we have another company where we are investing in, and we also offer this to the community here, which has much more dominant patterns than Footprint Gas has, and we can do more out of that. And we see that this market is really growing. We're talking about a market which is more than hundreds of billions in packaging. We can cover with, we like to cover 150 factories worldwide. What we like to cover with that one is still 2%. And this is small, but it's easy to enter, and we can scale these companies immediately in a time of 2 to 3 years. It's depending on the machinery, but it's not depending on the technology. And it's from our side, it's those ones who are able to act quickly, get the money, and run and make the market will succeed in those ones, and we are looking for that, helping them to succeed. This is definitely one thing which we are seeing as really emerging markets. And another one which is coming up, it's a very completely undervalued type of market. This is agriculture. Nobody is looking really to agriculture and what's happening there. So we are talking about this packaging product is good because we are using natural ingredients, but nobody is talking about food which is coming from plants. We need more plants. We need more sustainable plants, and we need more agricultural development of that. At the moment, we are looking for monocultures which are designed to get one product out of that. The interesting thing is on those things where we can collect out of one harvesting of a product a couple of further things, not only one part, which is used like hemp. Hemp is a good product. You can use hemp for CBD and everything else. But this sells to the fruits. 95% of the plants consist of different other things. We are developing also technologies or invest in companies which are doing that, which are using those 100% of the plants and can then create much more revenue out of that. At the moment, the average of the usage of the existing plantation oil plants worldwide is less than 50% of the plants. If we can increase that one, there's a tremendous return profile that you can increase if you do it right. And we are developing that one. So we are, at the moment, we are investing in green plants in Australia, 60,000 hectares in hemp plantation, where we are bringing the technology. It will be subsidized by the Australian government heavily because they like to do something, but they like to see that we can do a lot of things out of that. So from a hemp plant, you can create bricks. This technology we are using is coming from Ukraine. In Ukraine, it's really great to have that because when we are talking about refurbishing Ukraine and doing everything after the war, what is the first thing we just use? These are bricks. And we can produce it out of hemp, which has, against the current type of house building, also the possibility to absorb the heat or the cold from outside and inside. So this is good, and these are technologies which are coming up that we see as really emerging in the sense of let's use a little bit back, let's have a look back to the old economies, not those things which are new, which are coming up and help to develop the market. There are a lot of things which are ongoing where we can definitely invest in markets which are booming and coming up next.
So, who would like to, maybe, let's just get some audience questions going. You got a public market looking for disruptive tech, moving clean tech, sort of a family office back, trying to decarbonization themes, helpless entrepreneur, he can't help himself. He's going to find more things to best co-found. He does have a lot of great idea connections. And then Michael and I are trying to find, that's just one of the themes that we're investing in, is renewables. So, or what does other people see as an emerging industry that we should be thinking about? Anyone?
Yeah, what about your guys' thoughts on just roles of artificial intelligence and the applications of those across all of these different, topics that you guys are bringing up?
Define what you mean by artificial intelligence.
So I specifically mean like a software layer or something along those lines. So most artificial intelligence applications that I see are plugging into the open source models, big LLMs like Torch, Llama, and so forth. A lot of it has to do with the ChatGPT and AI. So specifically as it pertains plants, to bigger yields, right? Protecting shovels, and you're talking about models. I'm just wondering, so across the stack, I know that it's a buzzword, and I know that you're kind of feeding that back.
Everything what is needed in AI. I used AI in 2013 when I discovered that I run machinery, and we discovered that we have to blue collar workers. What you can do, because if you don't have to, the younger ones can like to work on drilling machines and everything else, but you need the preciseness and everything. What we did, we developed with a company, it's called DMG Mori, one of the biggest drilling machine companies. We developed a storage, what the blue collar workers did. So we started 2010. Collecting all the data and let the machine still learn what the blue collar workers do. We started with one person per machine. In 2012, we had 2 persons per machine because the machines did something more automated for themselves. This was the first step of AI. At the moment, the company, I sold it in 2017. The company is running everything with 4 machines for one blue collar worker because everything has been automated completely. This is storage and uses of so-called AI. It's process optimization. Yeah. It's also AI because the machines learn and they self-learn again and more. This is coming. Yeah. ChatGPT and everything else, it's a different topic. Yeah. So what we can do is on the automation side, I would say this is something which is definitely giving a lot of further benefits and yields to the market. This is definitely AI, what we like to do, and Steven is also invested in company. We talked yesterday about the one that came up, it's AI for travel.
It's digital process automation with an AI checker is really what most of the things are going to be.
Yeah, I get the big data, and it's also understanding. That's not what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting just that there has been taking, a word off that slide recently. And there are a lot of software companies, especially the early stage, that we're seeing left, right, and sideways, trying to build off these LLMs, build their own LLMs. And I think that there's also been a quantum leap in recognition of it. So
nothing in the
what
world
effects does that have on these?
Nothing in the world will happen without software, and software definitely depends on automation and self-learning and everything else. So we will have all of the different software components, different AI parts of that, which are running something.
So business as usual, and you don't see it as any sort of inflection.
So I just want to add something here. Every time that a mass audience talks about a buzzword, right, it's generally the peak of that word, whatever it is. As we just look back in our careers here, I'm just being very simplistic here. AI, in my opinion, has existed with any leading innovative company for the last 20 years.
Sure.
Because the world runs on software, and whether it's Mercedes-Benz or Tesla or the things that we use every day, or the planes that fly us and so on, there's a veterans evolution, amplification of the technology behind it. And so maybe it wasn't called AI before, but one electronic component is learning from another, and it's being made by man-made producers, right? By companies that are run by human beings. Okay, so I think that's going to continue, and I think that it's an extremely treacherous time to, and this doesn't address your question of how do you apply that to the plants, right? But to adopt or invest, what we do here, in things that are attributable or have the word AI in them. Because there will and are those that are dynamic and deserve capital, but the truth is that most of them don't.
Sure.
You know?
Can I just add to the plant part? Let's do that. It's about data. ChatGPT took the whole area, $1 million in processors and built it. Sitting there. TikTok has a great data set, by the way. Plants, what you have to do is structure a system to gather the data so the AI can begin to learn how to make plants better, how to grow better agriculture. So that data is just sitting there. What you're asking about, which is happening, happening right now, is people gathering the data, train the AI on solving type of problems. It's happening all over the place. It's just not on.
And admittedly, Mark said, you know, bring up some topics and emerging things that are on people's minds. So
No, but that's no thing. But I look at something that's not a large language model. It's a lot.
I would say that, and super quickly, and then I'll shut up because I already taken too much oxygen out of this room. But I would say that I agree with you. I mean, Kilobania and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, what I'm seeing at the early stage is that there are a lot of smaller software companies at the bottom of the ocean with less volatility that didn't necessarily focus on, you know, enabling themselves and plugging into ChatGPT and OpenAI, which are making a lot of their function and their outputs a hell of a lot more efficient, you know, from code all the way down to, you know, information flow or filling out, you know, the things that, performing tasks that they were unable to do themselves before they would have to hire 3 employees. I'm talking about startups. So I would say that, although I agree with you, buzzwords, crypto, this, that, and the other, like everybody probably has an opinion about all these different things, I wouldn't necessarily put artificial intelligence in its current form in one of those buckets just yet. That's all I'm saying. I do think that there's a, you know, the general awareness that this buzzword is created amongst a generation of entrepreneurs. It's
a democratization of systems, which at one point was exclusive, but now, and it will continue to incorporate them and access them.
Yeah.
And if you know the right way to program and questions to ask, you get good results.
Yeah, or just the APIs that they talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I guess I would just say that it's all about, right? I mean, I think the right companies understand it and implement it. The wrong companies run by people who aren't looking at it, don't have that awareness and aren't implementing it, you know, how they elect. And I think it really comes down to that. That kind of came on the scene, and everyone is aware of it now. It's all the reason why people who don't have technology backgrounds but are running some of these companies are actually going to start implementing. So I think that's why we want to support them.
Well, like you said, you're developing an AI based company, so what are you doing?
For hours ago. But I'm pretty much sure that every business, every single business should look at the entire business model, all the processes, what it does, how it does, and if there is any application of new technology to be integrated deeply into this business. Just another company that I support, for instance, they replace call centers. I mean, these people who are sales representatives. They completely replace them with 80%, making this 80% more efficient than the personnel. And it is going to happen. You know, I believe that this is a quantum leap from a coding and more, and software which has to be pre-programmed to run, to the software which can, to the neural network which can educate itself and develop by itself. So it's a quantum leap in my view, and you should not ignore
Oh,
it.
this is Mr. Quantum, too.
Quantum, I'll talk about AI and AGI. Listen, at some point, people are gonna say, hey, that radiologist doesn't, look at the X-ray, which is already being done. The accuracy is higher by, AI, right? And lawyers and all this stuff. Anybody who can, I heard of a lawyer, sorry, Mark, that, gave up his law degree, went to go back for plumbing, because he's like, that's gonna be replaced last by AI, right? This is the thing, right? But Elon is working on that in Boston Dynamics, right? Imagine these robots, now you put AI in them. Elon can't find enough people to fill his factory gig workers, right? They're all dying, they're old, right? And so, but if you do book robots with AI, it's replacing people. So, it's coming. If you're not thinking about it, then you're very foolish, because AI will touch every vertical, right, and displace hundreds of millions of jobs, right? If you're not thinking about that strategically, you should probably, do something else.
It's a different vector, quantum.
Yeah.
What should we know about quantum today?
Quantum computing is a mathematical certainty, right? The speed at which every qubit is stabilized, right, it's very hard to do, but every qubit that's stabilized is not a linear gain in compute function, it's an exponential gain in compute function against a fixed 200 integer key length of public key infrastructure. At some point, there'll be existential risk across your entire cybersecurity net. What, I'm doing and a bunch of my portfolio companies are doing is looking at the next level of mathematics to protect the entire infrastructure, because cyber touches every vertical and every person in this room in some way or fashion or another. So if you want to hear more about it, we're actually going to be here at Postelini on the 25th and 26th is another event, but Pete Thorough was kind enough to host us. So a couple of my portfolio companies are coming if you're interested in national security and $1 trillion market space.
It's pronounced Paulsonelli.
He didn't hear it. He wasn't here to hear it. For a couple more minutes, by the way, Dale St. Clair just appeared, and she's going to be on the next panel. You're perfectly positioned. So stay there. Get on Wi-Fi. I'm going to ask a few other people to come and talk about impact, but any other questions or comments on emerging industries?
I have a quick question for Eddie and Oleg. You guys sound like veterans in different sectors. How do you stay fresh and, with digital confidence?
AI? Sure.
Early on.
You got an avatar.
How do you stay fresh?
Playing lots of pickleball. That's how I stay fresh. I think these industries are extremely exciting. I chose the industries because they are exciting enough still. Climate tech, agriculture tech. There's not only one, two technologies, there's 5, 6 technologies that converging, which makes it also very complex. Also industries that are, where the incumbents are extremely large and slow to move. So that makes it even more interesting. So I think, staying awake is very, you don't need red for that.
Are you you're a public investor?
Private.
Private, so what do you look at for whole periods as far as your strategy goes? Typically, climate tech and deep tech are 10 to 14 years these days.
Yeah, so that's why I told a little bit about the arc that we see. If it's not commercializable, we look at it, but we don't invest in it. Because we think if it's more than 7 years out, it's not worth it. So my sweet spot is 5 years, 5 to 7 years.
So it's kind of the beginning of the J curve.
Yes. You can already, for diligence principles, you can already interview customers. Why did you buy them and not the other one? Yeah.
Oleg, how do you stay fresh?
Well, just have one principle of my life, which is to be ready to set your coordinates to 0 at any point of time. Because our life is full of consultancy, and consultancy industry.